Hello viewers, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So we start a new topic for today which is polynomial functions. So we are going to focus on just the introduction for today. So when we say polynomial, if you take just poly means many, poly just means many, and nomial means term. So if you combine these two, it just means many terms. So that's just the meaning. So it's like it's a function that has many terms. And if we say a function is basically a mathematical relation which assigns exactly one output to each input from a specific set. So it's like for a function, if you give it any input, it gives you just one output. So let's say if you are performing a certain function on the calculator, if you want to do 2 plus 3, if you input 2 plus 3, it's only 5 you can get. There is no way you input 2 plus 3 on the calculator when you are performing this function, then you get, let's say, 6. 2 plus 3 is not 6, it's 5. So whenever you perform that function, it's just that one output you are getting. If you are getting something else, then there is something wrong with the calculator. So basically, that is it about the polynomial function. So it's like the function is made up of many terms, right? Then it takes in inputs, then it gives out one output or exactly one output. So that's it. But then we have other functions like monomial functions, binomial functions. Yeah. So if we say mono means one. Mono means one. If you say bi means two. Then we have tri means three. So if you add the nomial, three, sorry. If you add the nomial to it, here it's you are going to get one term. Here you are going to get two terms. Here you are going to get three terms. So a monomial function is a function that has just one term. A binomial function is a function that has two terms. A trinomial function is a function that has three terms. But a polynomial function is a function that has more than one term. So it has more than one term. So this means that a binomial function is a polynomial function. A trinomial function is a polynomial function. But then because it has, so it's like we say that a polynomial function with two terms is called a binomial function. A polynomial function with three terms is called a trinomial function. So yeah, so for some of them we have specific names for them. But any function that has more than one term, we say that that function is a polynomial function. Okay, so we also have other type of function based on the highest degree of the independent term in the function. So based on that, we have other types of functions called, so we have the linear function, we have quadratic function, we have the cubic function, then we also have the constant function. So for a linear function, as I said earlier, these are grouped according to the degree of the independent term, the highest degree of the independent term in the function. So if you have a function whose highest degree of the independent term is 0, then that function is set to is called a constant function. So that one, the degree of the highest degree of the independent term is 0. If the highest degree of the independent term is 1, that is the linear function. If the highest degree of the independent term is 2, that is the quadratic function. Then if the highest degree of the independent term is 3, then that is the cubic function. So all these functions, they have their specific graphs for them. You need to know how their graphs look like. So let me try and draw their graphs. So for a constant function, a constant function, the graph is just an horizontal line. Then for a linear function, the graph is just a diagonal line. Yeah. Then for a quadratic function, the graph is just a curve. So it can be like this or like this. I'm not doing the curve well. I'm writing it like you. So the curve is something like this or like this, based on which kind of quadratic equation you get. Then for a cubic function, the curve is usually like this or like this or like this. Let me redraw for this. So for the cubic, the curve is usually like this. Or you can get something like this, depending on which kind of equation you are given. So that's basically about um the polynomial functions. So I want to write some examples of functions like polynomial functions. So when you see, you know that, oh, this polynomial function is a linear function, this polynomial function is a quadratic function, this polynomial function is a cubic function. Let me redraw this again. Sorry. So yeah, something like this. So if you have a function, let's say f of x is equal to 2. Now, if you have this function, they are telling you that this x is the independent variable. So if you are not seeing it here, we all know that any number exponent 0, any number or anything exponent 0 is 1. Is 1, yes. So since here there is only 2 here, it means there is an x exponent 0 here we don't write, which is 1, making 2 times 1, 2. So if you have a function f of x is equal to 2, with whose independent value has a degree of 0, we say that this function is a constant function because the independent variable here has a degree of 0. Now I have another function, say f of x is equal to 3x is equal to 3x. Let me clean it and write it again. So f of x is equal to 3x plus 2. Now, you see that here there is an x exponent 0 here. So our concentration is on the independent value, the highest degree of the independent value. There is 0 here, there is 1 here. So which one is the highest degree? 1. So since the highest degree is 1 here, it means that this is a linear function. So I said the linear function has its highest degree of the independent term to be 1. So the x exponent 0, they don't really write it because it's 1. So you see the equation as 3x plus 2. So since the highest degree is 1, it's a linear function. If you have another function, say f of x is equal to 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. Now, the highest degree here is 2 because this one has an exponent of 1, this one has x exponent 0. So the highest degree is 2. And if the highest degree is 2, it is called a quadratic function. If the highest degree is 2, it is called a quadratic function. Then this function could have been x squared plus 2. Here is exponent 0. Since the highest degree is 2 here, it's still called a quadratic function. Now if we have another function say f of x is equal to 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus 2x plus 1. This one has our x exponent 0, this one has x exponent 1, this one has x exponent 2, this one has x exponent 3. Now 0 and 3, which one is big? Is 3, right? 2 and 3, which one is big? Is 3. So since the highest degree here is 3, we say that this function is a cubic function. So this function is a cubic function. So for these ones, our main concentration is on the highest degree of the independent term. So that's our main focus here, to know which kind of function these ones are. Yes. So basically that will be it for today. So in our next video, we are going to dive deeper into this kind of functions and understand more things about it. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye.